The Tale of Omon and Osas, a village love story. In the heart of the vibrant village of Ishan, a place surrounded by thick forests, red earth, and the rhythmic hum of nature, lived a young woman named Omon. She was the only daughter in a family of 6 children. Her parents, Ogi and Adefolake, adored her like the sun, casting their warm rays on her every step. Omon's 5 brothers looked up to her as if she were a rare jewel. The little village of Ishan, with its clustered huts made of dried palm leaves, was home to people who lived simple lives, farming, trading, and building a close-knit community that thrived on the bonds of kinship. Omon was born into privilege. Her parents ensured that she lacked for nothing. While her brothers learned to work the land and contribute to the household, Omon's hands remained untouched by hard labor. The elders in the village often remarked, Omon has the beauty of her mother, but the laziness of the sun that sets early. She never had to wash clothes, cook, or fetch water from the stream. Her parents hired help, and her brothers did the domestic chores. They spoiled her because she was their only daughter, the pride of the family. Her father, Ogi, was the chief of Ishan, a man respected for his wisdom and leadership. He was an example of strength and fairness, revered not just within the village, but in surrounding areas as well. Adefolake, her mother, was known for her incredible skills in weaving and pottery, which she passed on to her daughters. Despite being so skilled, she never pressured Omon to learn the arts of homemaking. She simply believed her daughter would be married to a great man, and that would be enough. But there was a problem. Omon grew into a beautiful young woman, one admired by many in the village. Yet her beauty had become a crutch. She never learned the things that would help her build a home, how to prepare a meal from the fruits of the earth, how to manage a household. Omon thought that her charm and looks would be enough to carry her through life. Little did she know that the world had its own lessons in store for her. Then came Osas. Osas was a hard-working young man from the neighboring village of Ujiro. His father, Uwa, was a successful farmer, and his mother, Iyabo, was known throughout the region for her healing herbs. Osas grew up learning the ways of the earth. He could till the land, cultivate cassava, and cook sumptuous meals. He was the kind of man you could depend on, someone who understood the balance between hard work and the pleasure of family. One day, while visiting Ishan for a trading event, Osas met Omon. It was the annual festival of the harvest, a time when the villagers celebrated the fruits of their labor with dancing, singing, and the exchange of goods. Omon was in the center of it all, her radiant beauty attracting the gaze of every man in the village. But it was Osas who caught her eye. He stood a little to the side, his gaze firm and respectful, not one to gawk or make a scene. There was something about the way he stood, grounded yet free, that intrigued Omon. They locked eyes across the lively crowd. The rhythm of the drummers and the flashing colors of the dancers seemed to blur as they shared a moment of silent recognition. Osa smiled at her, and Omon, startled by the sincerity of his gaze, returned the smile. It was not one of those fleeting, flirtatious smiles often exchanged at festivals, but something deeper, more authentic. Their first words were simple. "I've never seen you here before," Osa said. "Are you from Ishan?" "I am," Omon replied. "My name is Omon. I am Osas. I come from Ujiro. I'm here to trade yams and cassava with the villagers." And so they began to talk. There was an ease between them, a comfort as if they had known each other for years. Omon was intrigued by Osa's quiet confidence and his deep knowledge of the land. Osas was drawn to her natural beauty, but more so to the vulnerability he glimpsed beneath her perfection. The conversations between them continued long after the festival ended, and they saw each other often under the shade of the tall trees or by the riverbank. It was clear to both of them that something had grown between them, an undeniable connection. Osa soon proposed to Omon, and their wedding preparations were the talk of Ishan. It was not just a union of two young people, but a celebration of two villages coming together. The elders blessed their union with songs and prayers, and the village rejoiced in the coming together of Omon and Osas. The wedding day arrived with golden sun rays spilling over the village. Omon was dressed in a beautiful gown made of woven cloth and adorned with colorful beads, while Osas looked dashing in his royal agbada. The air was filled with the sounds of drumming, singing, and laughter as the entire village came together to witness the grand celebration. In the months that followed, Osas worked tirelessly on their farm. He planted yams, cassava, and maize, while Omon kept to the house. At first, Omon was content, enjoying the comforts of her new home. She had always been pampered by her family, and the transition to her new life with Osas was no different. Osas provided everything she needed, and her duties consisted mostly of relaxing and occasionally playing with the children of the village. But it wasn't long before Osas grew frustrated. He came home from the fields day after day, exhausted, only to find Omon lounging about, waiting for the servants to bring her food. Omon, you must learn the ways of the home, Osas would gently say. This is not just my home, it's ours. Together we must work. Omon would nod, but she didn't understand. She wasn't used to working the fields or preparing meals. The servants in her father's house had always done it for her. She didn't think she should have to. As the weeks passed, the frustration between them grew. Osas would often leave in the early morning light, only to return late in the evening, carrying food he had gathered himself. Then, one day, after another long day in the fields, Osas came home to find Omon sitting in the parlor, humming to herself. No meal was prepared, and the house was in disarray. Osa's patience finally snapped. Omon, I am tired. I am so tired of carrying everything on my shoulders. You are my wife, and yet you do not take care of our home. What kind of marriage is this? Omon was stunned. She had never heard Osa speak to her in this way. Tears filled her eyes as she tried to defend herself. I didn't know. I didn't know it would be so hard. Please, I will do better. But Osas was weary. He did not want promises. He wanted action. I am going to teach you how to care for this home, Omon. If we are to stay together, you must learn. The next few weeks were filled with tense lessons. Osas taught Omon how to cook, starting with simple dishes like pounded yam and egusi soup. He showed her how to wash clothes, prepare the field, and even how to fetch water from the stream. At first, Omon struggled. The heat of the sun on her back was foreign to her, and the weight of the water jar felt unbearable. She stumbled often, but Osas remained patient. One afternoon, after several failed attempts, Omon finally made a pot of black soup. It wasn't perfect, but it was edible. She served it to Osas with trembling hands. When he took a bite, his eyes lit up. Omon, this is delicious. It's not perfect, but it's real. It's ours. Tears of relief and joy welled up in Omon's eyes. I'm sorry, Osas. I didn't realize how hard it was, but I want to be the wife you deserve. And so Omon's journey began. She learned the art of running a home, not just because it was her duty, but because she understood that it was a way of honoring Osas, their marriage, and their village. They built their life together, brick by brick, with patience and love. The villagers often commented on how much Omon had changed, how much stronger she had become. As for Osas, he learned to value Omon not just for her beauty, but for the resilience and strength that emerged when she realized her responsibilities. Together, they were no longer just two individuals, but a force of nature. They were a family, and they would face whatever life brought with grace, love, and unity.